everyone, it's Beth from SweetHearts Hair and I'm going to do a style called the combination crown braid. So you'll have to bear with me. I've only done this style once on a bride the other day, but I loved it so much I thought I'll get my friend Sue in and we'll give it a go and we'll see how we get on. So hopefully it's all going to go well. So don't forget you can like and comment on our video and also subscribe by clicking the bottom right hand side of your screen. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly go over what I've done to prep the hair. So I put a really quick curl to Sue's hair and I've just sprayed a little bit of clay spray just to give me a bit of messiness and a bit of grip to the hair. You could try like a dry texture spray, even a dry shampoo. And then to the sides, I'll just turn her around for you. I've just sectioned off a piece of hair on this side and then I've done the same on this side, but I'll go more into that once I've done like the main crown braid bit. Okay, so I'm going to start a Dutch braid now. I have got a tutorial on this and I am going to be getting a online workshop on how to Dutch braid if you find this a bit tricky. So I will sort of half talk you through but quite quickly. So I'm just breaking the strands into 3. Okay, and the braid's going to come up this way, so make sure your hands aren't directed down here. They've got to be coming in the way that you're braiding. So the strands are going underneath because it's a Dutch braid, okay, under like that. Now I'm not going to be adding any hair from this right hand side for now, okay, it's all going to be from the top. So I'm getting my little strand, adding it in, going underneath, nothing from this side. I'm letting that hair kind of fall that way. I'll just turn her a little bit for you. Taking sections from the top, not from this bottom, and I am just going to start just to pull out this braid a little bit as I go around, okay? So I've brought around to the other side so you can see what I'm doing. So just adding in from this top section here, adding that hair in, Dutch braiding normally, nothing from the right yet. But I will show you in a minute when you want to start adding that in. I don't want this braid to look too neat and perfect, which I do actually find quite hard. I find it much easier to be neat, so I'm just sort of pulling at the braid, creating that texture as I'm going round, not leaving it all to the end. And then as I come about to the ear here, I'm going to add a section in like we have been doing, but this time when you come to this side of the hair, I want you to start adding in, but don't want you to take the sections across like that, okay? I want you to let this hair fall down that way, so when you're adding in, make sure that that hair isn't being pulled across, make sure it's flowing down the head. So from here on in, you're going to be adding from both sides. So working my way around the head, allowing these sections here to flow down, make sure you're not taking them across. In a minute I'm just going to see if there's any sort of baby hairs, that one's quite good, that I'll just keep down. And I'll curl those afterwards and just keep the style nice and soft. So you're taking it, can you see the way my hands are going in the direction that I'm braiding, okay? My hands aren't down like that, they're up. I'm going in this right direction to where the braid is. So moving my hands up now, guys, okay, so I'm right up here. You do get a bit of arm ache. Still adding from both sides. Okay, so I'm nearly back to the beginning now, and this bit's really important. This sort of last section here that I'm adding in from the top, I really want you to make sure that your hands are pointing this way as you add that last section in. Otherwise, if you add it in like that, when I come to pin the braid later on, that section's going to go really strange. Can you see that? So on that last section, make sure you've got your hands pointing right up this way, so your elbows going up like that. And then you'll just continue this braid without adding in hair all the way to the end. Okay, I'm just pancaking, which is a weird fancy way of saying pulling on the edges of the braid. And then this braid is going to be pinned around the head. I'll show you how to do that. I might need to pull a little bit more in a minute, but I don't want to go too far and make it too sort of high on her head. So I'll just sort of start it off like that. Okay, so I'm going to grab hold of this braid that we pulled out, and I'm going to place it over the top of this sort of small bit of braid where we first started. So we're going to cover all that part there, place it down, hold it down, and then if I just turn through a little bit, so basically I'm going to lay it over the top here. So I've placed it over the top, and then now I'm going to push this underneath the other side. Okay, so you're just going to tuck in all this braid underneath this Dutch braid here so you don't see it at all. And now I'm going to start pinning. Okay, so I'm just using an ordinary grip, so bobby pin, Kirby grip, depending on where you're from, called a different thing. Just using a regular size one, and I'll just sort of go into this part of the braid, okay, lift it up a little bit so you can't see, and just sort of weave that grip into the hair to really hold that down. Okay, so on this side again, I'm just going to go in and just pin that down, make sure it doesn't move, make sure it doesn't slip. Another thing I'm going to try and do is create just a little bit more texture and messiness here. It's all a bit too smooth and neat. So I'll sort of hold onto the braid and just pull up these sections a little bit. So the Dutch crown braid is done now. So we're left with these two side sections. So when I did this on the bride the other day, she had a very straight part line there, and it looked, she had got dark hair, so it was a little bit more noticeable, but you could see like a very straight line. So what I've done with Sue, I don't know if you can see it, but I'll explain it. I'll just take these out a second. Okay, so what I've done is I've just sort of divided this part line across like that. Okay, so I've got one bit of hair that's coming this way and one bit of hair that's running that way. So when I do the two fishtail braids that I'm going to do, okay, it's not got that perfect line. You've sort of tried to just merge that line a little bit. Okay, so we're going to be doing a fishtail braid, but I'm going to do a Dutch braid version. So I'm going to start off up here. If you can just pop your chin down a little bit for me there, Sue. Okay, so it goes into two sections. And then I'm going to take a small section from the right. It goes underneath that section and gets joined to the left side. And now a small section from the left goes underneath that section and gets joined to the right. I'm going to repeat that again. Small section underneath, but this time I'm going to add in a tiny bit of hair as well. So a little bit of hair is going to go in there, and that gets joined to the left side. And now you're going to take a small section from the left, that goes underneath, gets joined to the right, but I'm not going to add any from the left hand side, so it's only from the right that I'm going to be adding. So small section from the right goes underneath, passes over to the left, add a small section of hair in there, and then left side, small section of hair gets passed over to the right. Small section on the right goes under, adding a small section in. Oh, don't get those ones. It's a good job I pinned them out the way. There we go. And you're just going to keep doing that all the way around. Okay, I'm just adding this last bit of hair in now. So when you get to this point, you'll just stop adding hair, and all you're doing is just taking a small section round the back, keep going all the way to the bottom of the hair. Okay guys, so other side, exactly the same as you did on the right. I'll just start you off so you just remember. So it's those 2 strands again, little sections going underneath, getting added into the other side, and continue down as you were on the other side. Okay, so all I'm going to do is just take hold of these little fishtails, and I want to sort of allow that fishtail to drape underneath this crown braid. Bring it around and then sort of like tuck it in here and pin. So, all done. I'm actually really pleased with the way this has turned out. I didn't know if I was going to be able to show you because I've only done it once, but no, I'm really pleased. So I'm going to give her a little spin, get out the way. So that's the front. I'm really glad that we did that zigzag part line there. I just think it really softens up that front area there. So I'm just going to spin you around, Sue, all the way. So you can see it's really soft and romantic. You can imagine adding some fresh flowers, very bridal, very pretty, all done. So thank you so much for watching again, and don't forget you can subscribe, and you can also find us on Instagram at SweetHearts Hair Design.